Welcome to the Cosmic Show. I'm your host, Cosmic Chimp, and today I'm joined with Marek Rosa, CEO of Chimp Software House. So, thank you very much for having me here. It's awesome, exciting. I'm nervous. What was your inspiration behind Chimp Software House?
I always wanted to make games, and for some reason I was going towards games that are like the main thing is about some program feature, not just like art or story or something like this, but games where the core feature is about something that is done by a programmer. So I was inclined to like physical simulation and voxels and stuff like that. And many years ago I developed this voxel engine, and I was thinking what kind of game can use or utilize that kind of engine, and that led me to idea of Minor Wars. So I did Minor Wars and so on, and of course later it converged to Space Engineers idea. But the main vision behind King Software House was that I wanted to make games, basically.
Yeah. Where did the name come from?
I think it's actually quite random,
Okay.
It was really like I was just like thinking like some name, and this sound okay. Like there really wasn't any kind of inspiration or story or like some background thing behind the name. It was really mostly random, and but Software House was less random because I was feeling that maybe like I don't know how the future will go, and maybe we'll just want to develop some software or something like this.
Okay.
So I just like slapped
Just put it
Software
together.
House there, yes.
Nice. Okay, then. So then, what was the inspiration behind Space Engineers? That would have been Minor Wars.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So with Minor Wars, it was with this voxel engine that you have terrain, asteroids, or whatever, and you can deform it, alter it, and it's still keeping its volumetricity. So it's not just some kind of like fake, let's say, terrain that is static and basically is only the surface and nothing else. With voxels, you can dig through and so on, as players of Space Engineers know. So the idea of Minor Wars was that you had some asteroids, and there are, let's say, miners or other people fighting each other, drilling, hiding in tunnels and building the tunnels and so on. And so we did Minor Wars, and then after that we are thinking what should be the next game, and I started to kind of like push this idea of having volumetric objects around you even further. So not only having volumetric terrain and voxels, but also grids and ships,
Okay.
and other things. Because I realized that if we really will be defining the things not only by their surface and by having like entire object being just one model that you cannot split, and you cannot look inside, you cannot remove parts and so on. So if we stop this like standard way of doing games, that you have objects like this, but if you make them volumetric, so there are parts and these parts, in our case blocks, they interact with each other, which can bring some emergent behavior of the object and so on. So this led to idea of Space Engineers, and it was quite like once with my colleagues we got this idea and we started to develop it. It just like clicked. Everything made sense. That if you really have the volumetricity in a grid and you build a ship, you will need, let's say, to have some kind of cargo box where you store things. Then you need conveyors if you want to automatically convey things. If you, let's say, want to land the ship somewhere, or like with these magnetic like things to stick it to something, you need blocks for this, and they need to have some properties. So the thing is that as we are following the realism, and we are also doing everything as some kind of volumetric blocks, all the other features just emerged from it. Like it was quite natural.
So it's just beautifully just come together.
Yeah. So that was good, and that was the main idea behind Space Engineers. Was this having the volumetric environment that where individual pieces communicate to each other, like interact with each other somehow.
Okay.
And something emergent can happen. And also what I was really curious was what will players make with this kind of thing. So that's like another parameter to this emergent kind of behavior or emergent equation.
Okay, sweet. Now, one of the reasons we're here in Prague right now is about the Xbox release. And when do you expect the release to be, or any more information about it?
So it will be in 2020, that's for
Yeah.
sure, and it will be rather sooner than later. Like we still don't want to announce the date, but I would say like it should be in a couple of months.
So just soon TM. Okay, sweet. Will there be cross-platform from PC to Xbox?
No, they will be separated. That's it. It will be quite complex thing to actually do the cross-platform thing, not just from the technical and like this backend side, you know, how the systems will have to communicate, but also from the control point of view, you know, that players on Xbox will have different kind of limitations than the players on PC, and if you want to make it fair, you know, like you will have to compensate somehow and so on. So those will be two separate worlds.
To be fair, I mean, test playing it recently, there is a massive difference between keyboard and the controller, and I'll always go back to the keyboard because the controller was, the only thing I really liked about it was the emotes. I loved the easy and mobility. So we were in a moment and we wanted to do the pointing down emote, you press a few buttons and it was just there, it was easy, but with the keyboard you have to go through the hotbar. It just takes longer, sometimes it takes away from the moment, so by the time you get the emote ready. But anyway, moving on swiftly. Has there been any thought of using the Kinect with the Xbox to do gesture features with Space Engineers? Or is that just...
Not really, at least not in this version. And maybe it's something that I would consider in like future for VR version. And not doesn't need to be Kinect, you know, it can be another kind of like, you know, this hand controls. But Kinect, not for now.
No. The VR is awesome. I've tried Sectan's version of the Space Engineers and it is amazing just standing there, seeing how big the blocks are. Anyway, so cool. Now that Space Engineers is coming to Xbox, will there be Medieval Engineers possibly coming to Xbox?
Well, we don't have this in our plans.
Okay, so no, okay, sweet. Okay, so Space Engineers, the future of it. Is there any plans? What's happening now that it's been released from early access? What's the future for Space Engineers?
So if you're speaking about Space Engineers, you know, the current one that is available on Steam, we plan to support it and upgrade it or update it, you know, as time goes. The frequency is roughly every couple of months, you know, so it's not like too little or not too far from each other. And we really want to, like, we have a huge list of things that we want to either improve or add to the game, and we want to be working on this. So for foreseeable future, this is how the future of Space Engineers should look like.
Okay, and is there any thought of another concept of Space Engineers, like Space Engineers 2, or is it just...
There are concepts, of course, and for, let's say, like future installment of Space Engineers, how the, let's say, next game can look like, and we have many ideas, and but it shouldn't influence the development of like these Space Engineers. Yeah.
Cool, sweet. There's a few concepts or feature requests I would like, and one of them is maybe like a rad storm, a cosmic rad storm that would be kind of like an EMP that would come along, and if it hits your base it would take it out, and you need to use like the power kits to revive yourself until you can get everything working. Would this be a possibility of adding something like that in, or maybe into the future? I don't know, it's just some extra features.
Well, maybe yes, and actually I have tendency of wanting this kind of features to be added to Space Engineers, like sometime. Things basically that gives you more interesting environment, you know, like where something happens in the environment and it's somehow simulated, or like it's almost like a living thing. And so, but as a like funny example, in Minor Wars we had these solar flares or solar wind.
Okay.
And so it was something that from time to time this solar flare came out of the sun, and it was like a big heat, like a big, like a bubble of heat, you know, kind of thing. And if you saw a movie Sunshine, it was something like that, you know, that like just like fire coming from the sun, and it's like starting from the sun and then just going, you know, like outwards. And when it gets close to you, you start to hear it, and you can also see it. So you don't see it in the distance,
Yeah.
but when it gets closer, you see it and you can hear it. And if it hits you, it can, or it should kill you. So it's preferable to hide behind something.
That's a
You know, so for
concept,
example, behind some like station or asteroid or something like this. And it was also, this effect was quite volumetric. So for example, if there was an asteroid in the way of how this like bubble was expanding from the sun, like part of it would be occluded by the, or stopped basically by the asteroid, and only the part that wasn't stopped by the asteroid would just continue somewhere. So you can hide and you can see like how the rest is continuing.
Oh,
So it
cool.
was really nice volumetric effect, and we always wanted actually to add it to Space Engineers because it's somehow simple, you know, like with what we have.
Maybe there's a possibility of adding it in then.
Yeah.
Sweet. Awesome. Okay, so a wee bit about medieval engineers. It's been a while since the last update. What's going on there? Is there any more plans coming out with it, or?
So this year we didn't make any big development of medieval engineers, as people noticed, and lately we did few bigger fixes, like some improvements of some things that were bothering people for some time, and we'll release them soon. And also we will announce, you know, how we see the future of medieval engineers for the foreseeable future.
Okay.
So there will be some news regarding medieval engineers that we'll be sharing soon.
Okay, sweet. So, and just extra ideas. With all the DLCs coming out, will there be any defense packs or any weapon packs coming out with them, or is there any really cool DLCs that are hidden in the background that you are working on right now, or that you're willing to tell us?
So there is one idea that we'll be working on probably. That's something like you said, like, you know, like weapons or defense or something like this. Doesn't need to be entire DLC, you know, it can be free update.
Okay.
And so there are plans like this, and you know, maybe as always, like we don't like to speak about like specific features or plans because we want to keep them a surprise. So, but weapons and defense or combat is definitely on our radar.
Nice, because it's like with the new shields that you have, just for the base, like for stationary bases, it'd be cool to have something small and light based on the power of the ship, like a small ship, maybe not maybe large ones, but just small defense ones, or a shield that can only go on large ships that need the big power draw. That would be something that a lot of people like, and I know there's a few mods out there that gives you the shield for the ships. So that would be quite nice to see something like that. Well, that's everything really. There's not really much more I've got written down to talk to you about, but thank you very much for taking us out here and at least getting to see some of the Xbox controls. So, well, thank you very much guys for watching, and yeah, it's been amazing so far. So anyway guys, as always, stay safe. Okay.
Thank you.